So it's 2 weeks until the election, and I know we're moving on really quickly from each news story, but I do think that we need to pause, rewind, and slow it down when it comes to Fox News interview with Donald Trump, where he was at a barber shop in the Bronx. They pre-recorded it, and I think these answers are really telling, and I think we should talk about them in a really serious way. We shouldn't gloss past it. First, he talked about his idea for healthy food, which didn't make any sense. And then secondly, he said something about schools that he completely made up out of thin air. And I think we need to talk about both. First off, let's watch this answer about what he said or didn't say about artificial foods being banned.
Is the plan to do about the food healthcare industry and getting the artificial foods banned in our urban communities that have less access to organic whole foods?
So Bobby Kennedy, right? Everybody likes Bobby. And he's so big into the health food and women, things, everything. He wants to do things in the environment. And he endorsed me. First time a Kennedy's ever endorsed a Republican. Maybe it's going to be the last, but I doubt it. And he's a great guy. He would be so perfect. He doesn't like artificial foods, and he doesn't like pesticides and all the stuff they put on them. And if you listen to him for 10 minutes, I mean, he says other countries that don't do anything are healthier than us, okay? We're not that healthy, to put it mildly. So no artificial foods. We don't want artificial. We have plenty of food. The food isn't our problem. And our farmers are great. And our farmers aren't allowed to do their job. You know, our farmers did great 4 years ago. They were doing just about the best they've ever done. They're not doing well at all now. We're not going to have artificial foods. We don't want artificial foods. We want healthy foods. And a lot of things are going to be going. And I'll tell you, I'm going to have Bobby Kennedy involved in it. He's a great guy. And even the way when I mentioned his name, all you guys, and you're tough cookies. You know, you wouldn't think, sometimes you'd say, maybe you wouldn't like a guy like Bobby. But he's a person that talks more about food and health than anything else. So I think that's cool. So we'll get it taken care of. You'll be healthier.
What? Now, again, we move on so fast in this, high speed media ecosystem that we live in, but he did not answer that question. It's a very simple policy question, one that he is actually campaigning on. One of the reasons why RFK Jr. joined his campaign supposedly is because he wants to, quote, make America healthy again. But Donald Trump obviously has no concept of his own policies and how he is going to make America healthy, which is part of what he was talking. It was a really easy layup question, too, to give Donald Trump some sort of easy response about how we can make Americans healthy. There's so many different ways you can pivot on it. But what he did, we talked about how he helped the farmers, has nothing to do with the original question. And then he just brought up Bobby Kennedy for a minute and a half. He never answered the question. And I know I'm probably a broken record on this, but if Kamala Harris answered a question like this, we would not hear the end of it. It is incredible to me how much of a pass he gets when it comes to lying and bloviating and just pushing past any question that he clearly doesn't have any basic understanding of. And when there was a Univision town hall just last week, when he was asked about immigration, something he's campaigned on for 9 years, it was very obvious he has no even basic understanding on how immigration works in this country, something that he has railed against for a decade. Okay, and then in the closing 2 weeks of the campaign, let's see what Donald Trump thinks is the policy and the problems facing many Americans. Let's see what's on Donald Trump's mind when it comes to Americans in schools.
We have here in the Bronx. What are we going to do?
They're failing.
What are we going to do to improve that in our school systems?
Well, we're moving them back.
So the question is, what are we going to do to improve schools in the Bronx?
From Washington, where you have people that don't care about New York, frankly. You know, in Washington, I don't know if you ever noticed this, you go Department of Education, Department of Education. You got half the buildings are Department of Education. I never saw. You don't need any of them. You know, I want one person and a secretary to just make sure they're teaching English, okay? Give it a little English, okay? I say reading, writing, and arithmetic. No transgender, no operations. You know, they take your kid. There are some places, your boy leaves the school, comes back, a girl, okay? without parental consent. What is that all about? That's when they talk about a threat to democracy, they're a threat. Could you imagine without parental consent? At first, when I was told that was actually happening, I said, it's an exaggeration. No, it happens. It happens. There are areas where it happens. We're not going to let it happen.
I know, just to say it has never once happened that a boy or a girl went to elementary school, middle school, or high school and came back a different gender later that day. There are not sex change surgeries happening at public schools. This is insane. And I can't help but feel sorry for the people who went to this event, who actually are looking for real solutions to real problems, who think for some reason that Donald Trump is going to fix them. Now, I think there are probably some people watching this who aren't going to feel bad for them, but these are a lot of people who have been lied to, manipulated, and propagated against. And so they've bought into a big lie, and they think Donald Trump is a solution, and he is showing them that he's not. And I don't know what the solution is to get them out of the cult that they find themselves in, but he's clearly there. But I guess what I'm trying to say is they clearly have concerns about the direction of the country, as we all do. But Donald Trump doesn't have one solution. He just has a way of creating problems and lies. And this Fox News interview was supposed to be a home run for him and very easy, a softball, if you will. I'm not really big into sports metaphors because I don't really know sports, but I think that works. And I think it really backfired because it just shows more than anything else we've seen in the past week or so that, yes, we know he is insane and that he's losing grip with reality, but it also shows he just has no basic concept of any sort of policy or solution. He just knows how to yell about problems that he's. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please hit like on the video. If you are not subscribed, consider subscribing. And sorry for the different background and look, but I am currently on the road. I'm in New York today, and I'll be in Provincetown for the rest of the week starting tomorrow. So I'll have a new background tomorrow. So exciting. Looking forward to that. So I might be another video today at some point, and it might be a little bit later until I get one tomorrow. But I'm really excited for the election to come around and for us to finally nominate and elect Kamala Harris. I think it's going to happen, and I will do a video. I think there was a really interesting thread on polling that I want to show you that I think is going to help kind of put everything in perspective. So look forward to that. See you soon.